This is Red Fens on normal, including looking at some of the loot drops available. In retrospect, I think it would have been a good plan to run this chain on normal at level 7 because the items are, you're guaranteed to get a list of items, named items, and in every drop list you're going to get named items, and it's all minimum level 7. And certainly at level 7 we can handle level 9 content on normal. And so in retrospect, we did a lot at that level, but it would have been good to add this one more thing. So, but I'm going to run it now because there's still a few items that I'd like to get from here. And the big thing is that right now I'm using these expeditious or these Anger Steps boots, and they're working out really good, as well as this one Geyer's Boots of Dashing to get my 25%. Well, there's a two-piece set bonus that you can get from here, ring and boots, that will give you feather falling and 30% speed. So that's, it's two items, but it's a pretty nice combo. There's some other nice things you get, such as underwater action, so you could, breathe underwater, as well as balance plus 10, which will allow you to, um, get up quicker when you get knocked down. And as you've seen, if you've been watching any of these videos or if you just play the game, uh, you'll notice that getting knocked down is not an uncommon thing, unfortunately. So it's really good to have protection against that. And by running these 4 quests, we're going to hopefully get that two-piece set. I believe it drops all the time, but if not, we'll get it definitely by running normal and hard. Or if you run at level 7, just run normal and normal. And it's also a nice change of pace from Slavers. I'm real happy with the Slavers runs. But the nice thing that's different than Slavers is that you don't need to, you don't need to do as many runs. Just to run through normal, and you'll get your named items. I got a few items from running Slavers that I'm very happy with, named items as well as the crafted items. So I think that's a really great thing to run. But it doesn't appeal to everybody to run, the quest chain multiple times to get multiple items. So if you just run it on normal, hard, and then again probably one more time on hard or maybe even normal, you should be able to craft 3 items, or 2 items for sure, but maybe 3. Um, Probably more realistically 2, but you'll be close to a third. And so that to me, anyways, is not a bad way to go. And very good chance you could actually create one item just from your normal, and you should be able to create one item just from your normal and hard mode. And so for myself, I ran several times, made several items, and got a few dropped named items, including the nice trinket from running Elite, which was great because that was a very difficult run. We were a little under gear. Now that I've run Slavers, I'm kind of ready for Elite. I've gotten a bunch of gear from Slavers, and right now you can see how slow I'm running without my Expeditious Retreat. So I'll go ahead and put it in, and this is 25%. You can see it's quite a bit faster. But if we get the set bonus, we'll be at 30%, and not have to use these clickies, so I'll be able to put these in the bank. So that's the goal, to get this Ring of the Mire and Boots of the Mire from these quests, just running on normal. This is Claw the Volker. This used to be a quest that people would stealth through, and even in high difficulties they could stealth through this quest. That doesn't really work so well anymore on Reaper, in part because if there's a Reaper that comes, it alerts everything in the game. Now I've got a bunch of these buffs on here. The only one I'm going to use for now is, actually I should use these boots, Expeditious Retreat, and then my shield clickies. Although I don't know, we really need the shield clicky, possibly for this part. Alright, we need to speak to the princess. And I went ahead and decided on the resist spell. I had a lot of resist absorb combo armor, or rings, and cloak, and bracers, and that worked really well at the lower levels. But now that I have some updated gear, I don't have all those absorbs or resist. I have a couple of them, so I'm gonna just use this. Maybe this fire would be good for here. We are in, facing fire giants after all. And so, just to show you, you saw me get this.
Silence, slaves! Curse you and your insolence! Vermin you are!
Let's get him.
Swear before your master!
Alright, now we just have to, so we can grab this. Don't think I actually need to pick it up. These scorpions, you just click on them and bring them up here. You'll collect them up that way. More, there it is.
Iona whispers from your backpack.
I bet I can there we go. Good luck.
And my spot is definitely working much better. Like I was able to, after upgrading my items, spot things I couldn't spot in slavers on hard, the same difficulty before. So with the items, I'm spotting everything. So I feel very good about the. I want to get these guys. They try to sometimes run to the lever back there to set off some fire.
Iona whispers.
See the octagonal pressure plate? It's
now for these plates, you just kind of run over them. That drops the staff, and then pick it up, pick it back up. Don't forget to pick it back up.
Show you the way.
That's how you're going to open each of these barriers.
Iona whispers.
Careful. I sense many targets near. If you can activate my staff and click on each guardian, you can pacify them one at a time. But you must remain unnoticed, or the magic won't work.
Iona whispers.
The guardian has noticed you.
Iona whispers.
A roaming scorpion has spotted you. Watch out for ambush.
Iona whispers.
The guardian has noticed you.
Iona whispers.
The guardian has noticed you.
Iona whispers.
A roaming scorpion has spotted you. Watch out for ambush.
Iona whispers.
Guardian has noticed you.
Iona whispers.
A roaming scorpion has spotted you. Watch out for ambush.
That door in the back right there is leads to a shrine. We're not going to need it on normal difficulty, but on
Iona
Reaper
whispers.
difficulty, it's definitely going to be handy.
A roaming scorpion
Just
has
to kind of
spotted
recharge
you.
everything and
Watch out for ambush.
make sure we're good. It is guarded, so you don't want to go in. If you go in there with no spell points, be warned that you're going to face some, you're going to face a pretty normal giant fight in there.
Iona whispers.
The Guardian has noticed you.
So if you're wondering, if you're thinking that, well, Slavers is a level 8 quest, this is a level 9 quest, and this seems a lot easier than Slavers, you're right. Yeah, for some reason, some of the new chains just scale a lot harder. I'm gonna, even though I don't spot anything here, I'm gonna search because it may only be on Elite or Reaper, but this is a pretty deadly trap. If you run
The air
through
in this
quick,
chamber is dusty and
yeah,
stagnant.
it must just be on higher
It must not have been
difficulties,
disturbed
normal.
for centuries.
But yeah, the Slavers is, it's a much harder
Iona
quest compared to
whispers.
other level 8s.
Guardian has
I knew that
noticed
going
you.
into it. I just, and I knew that the checks for the checks for traps and such
Iona
were going to be
whispers.
pretty hard.
There it is.
But
You've done it.
yeah, this is what I would call kind of
Behold the
normal for the
Valkyr.
level. Significantly easier than even the level 8 quest. All right, so no named item or no chest for this, but we will get a named item list as an end reward. All right, so from this quest, you could just go straight ahead. You know, that tall structure you see in the background is basically where we're going. And if you go a little to the right from here, you'll find a path up, and then you veer left, and you'll find some mushrooms to follow up there. So that's basically the path we're going to take. We probably could take our horse the whole way. I'm going to just
Flickering
walk it,
braziers now show
just
that
so
this
it's a little
marks
easier
the
to see the
beginning
way,
of the
but also
Fire Giant's territory.
just so we don't get hurt. But I've actually taken my like mounted up and gone up there the entire way, and it works just fine. Like I've never been knocked off my horse. By the time the enemies react, you're already gone fast speed. So we just went to the right a little bit, up the path, and then to the left. And there's a named spider, so let's go ahead and grab it. It's a level 9 wilderness, so it'll be more level appropriate gear for us. We might get a good random item in here. These chests are considered level 9 normal chests, so I don't know that we'll get. I don't know how that impacts the drop rate of some of these named items. So not a bad item, not one we would use. It's medium, but it's level appropriate. So you can see these mushrooms starting at the bottom. There's a couple of mushroom formations, and you can see this. If you kind of follow it from there down, you can see that there's
A forest of
a path
huge
up from here.
mushrooms reaches up to the sky. The toadstools have grown to a gigantic size, feeding on the rich swamp soil.
And there's another explorer over here. I think if you jump to that little mushroom patch as well. But we're gonna have so much experience. The last thing we need to worry about are explorers at this point. So I'm just gonna head up the path, and then once you reach this structure, you go left, and then just follow it clockwise the whole way up to the top. And there's a chance for another named item or name drop at the top. You won't get that coming out of the quest because it doesn't spawn right away. It takes several minutes to spawn, so it'll be there now, but when we come out of the quest, there won't be anything up there. I think they just do that so people don't get ambushed.
Sahagin guard the top of the ziggurat. It's clear the fish people are trying to find something inside the ancient structure.
Yeah, if the rare encounter was there, you'd see a chest right about here. But he's not there this time. Alright, then you just go here, and here's the quest.
Giant magical barriers enclose this space, and the area beyond the barriers is filled with seawater. The Sahagin have made themselves at home inside this ruin.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about normal, but I'm just going to stick on my shield because these guys do cast. You can have, there are some folks that'll, or some enemies that'll cast magic missile in here. And on Reaper difficulty, that magic missile. You can get an optional for freeing talking to all of these guys here. They're sort of a little bit hidden. Sometimes they're hard to see, but I'm not going to bother about that with that optional. But if you want to maximize your XP, you don't get anything for it, other than just a little bit of experience. Since we're already maxed out, just from running slavers, I'm completely maxed out on experience already. So I'm not going to worry about the optionals, but sometimes if you're just trying to run as few quests as possible, you might experience that, where you want to get these optionals.
The bodies of dead Raven Eye slaves litter the floor. The Sahagin are cruel taskmasters.
There's a shrine over there and also a chest, but we can actually get that chest later. I'm thinking my jump's not going to be good enough to get this chest, but let me see. If you kind of jump to this thing here, you can get it. Yeah, I didn't think so. Higher levels, or epic, like the epic version of this quest, it's pretty easy to get that chest. But at this level, it's pretty hard to make that jump. So there's some classes that have easier time than others. All right, so once we get here, we're we're gonna have a fight.
The switch that controls the magical barriers is nearby, guarded by several fierce Sahara.
All right, so before we press that lever, loot this chest and buff yourself. Okay, flawed. So that's another. We have several of these, but it's for changing a feat from level 1 to 4. All right. So one other thing is we're normally, I'm gonna just make sure you get yourself kind of buffed up. Normally, if you have Dimension Door, like Wizard would have that by this level. You would cast Dimension Door, pull the lever, and then everyone would take the Dimension Door and go back to the start. But if we don't, if we don't have that spell, which we don't, we have to swim back. I do have, in addition to the underwater, I guess I'm going to lose my fortification and healing. That's fine for this. So I'm going to get into my water-breathing bubble belt. I'll probably get rid of this once I get the level 7 underwater action item. There are also some traps. So I'm going to actually buff myself with all of these resists. Give myself a shield. There's a possible fight there. And I guess give myself a Expeditious Retreat. Yes, okay. So now I've got myself kind of buffed with all the resists. And now we could pull it, and
the magic barriers vanish.
It fills with water.
That floods the
So if you kind of pull the map up, you could sort of, you don't go the way, you can't go back the way you took. There's too much resistance, so you just sort of find a path. And then once you kind of find this path, you can just sort of follow on the map where to go. And if you don't have an underwater action item, there are some things you can click on. So we get up here. Grab these. These allow you to upgrade your items. That's all right. Okay, so here's a trap. So you can disable traps underwater. And I'm very confident my spot's going to work for me now. It was a little under leveled there. All right, I'm going to go. So this now we have to go. Pull this lever. And there's a secret door in here. I'll just show it to you. I normally skip a lot of these optionals, and I think there's like just a very simple chest in here, so we'll just grab it. And because it's a level 9 quest, we're getting these random chests are a little bit better. All right, let me get that guy. Those wisps do some pretty heavy electrical damage. We've got our resist, so we're okay. Locked. We're not really having a problem with opening locks, but I do have this open lock item if we do. Alright, so nothing interesting, but always a chance when we're running these quests on normal and hard at higher levels, levels close to where we are, it's always a better chance we can get some useful random loot item. Although I think with what we have with slavers, so this looks like a maze, but it's very linear. You just follow the path. It's pretty much the only way we can go. And you could always, if you need to go up for water, you could always do that. So here's the shrine, and here's the one what I was telling you about, the chest. Over here we can get later. Alright, and now we want to go, I think, this way. And then the current's going to force us to go, you can kind of see it's the way we didn't go before. Now we have to swim it. Another trap. This thing's trapped, and I think a lot of it is sonic damage. So if you're not in a trapping build, but you have sonic resistance gear, that would be a way to mitigate that damage. Alright, now. So we're just sort of backtracking here. And again, if we look at our map, we kind of came down this path, and now we're swimming back this path. And that's because the currents won't let us go back the way we came. Definitely want your cold resist for that. Those they on Reaper they do a lot of damage. Not on normal, obviously, but on Reaper, you'll want to have cold resist for these elementals. Just climb up here to lift this last barrier. I guess that's not even a barrier. I guess we just go out here and...
At the bottom of the stairs, a group of angry Sahagin menace Foxpaw the
I'm going to
Sharp.
bring back my Expeditious Retreat and another shield. And this is actually at the beginning of the quest area. There's, you know, there's where we landed around there. That's where Foxpaw was, back over there, where that base is. And so if you featherfall, you'd featherfall right back here. So it would be a shortcut versus doing all that swimming. I mean, if you dimension door and then you go up and featherfall down, and that's quicker than swimming. So that's an option if you can do it, but right now we don't have that option. Humans, if they take the passage feat, which is actually quite good for human, I thought of taking it on this build. They start off with 3 expeditious retreat
a
clickies,
Sahagin wizard sifts through the remains of a smashed
and they can
container.
get dimension door
planar
and
fetter
teleport, which is
not
kind of
there.
nice. All right, so I'm gonna beef up for this fight. Gets going down really quick on normal.
You have defeated the Sahagin and ended their enslavement of the Raven Eye clan. You were unable to retrieve the planar fetter, and the Sahagin have taken the magical device back to their underwater base.
I'm gonna double recall here, recall out of the quest, then recall out of the wilderness, and then start from fresh again, because it's probably
Sahagin
pretty
guard the top
easier to
of
do
the
that and
ziggurat.
probably more
It's
clear
clear the fish
direction-wise which way
people
to
are
go.
trying to find something inside the ancient structure.
We have 2 End Rewards, but I'm just going to wait and pick all 3 up at the same time after this quest. This quest is a protect mission, and I forgot my hireling. That's okay, I'll just bring him in at the beginning of the quest. Sometimes there could be a named item up there. You'd see the chest, or not a named item, a rare encounter. So if I see him, I'm going to go ahead and get him just because it's a quick level 9 chest. At least at this level, I would do it. And all the rare encounters are pretty easy. The rare encounters don't drop named items like Three Barrel Cove, but the oysters that are kind of scattered about do have the you know, the pearls in them that are used to upgrade the items later.
The Raven Eye village has been reduced to smoking ruins by the Sahagin attacks.
There can also be a rare encounter right here. This guy we just encounter, he's like right over here. We encounter him right on our way if he's there, but not there this time. Yeah, the collectibles at this level are really good stuff. So this sparkling dust we just got, it's used not just for crafting, but there's some Stone of Change things you can do with with that as well. All right, we're gonna go in a normal.
Burning wreckage and rising smoke
And this is a
overshadow
protect
the once
mission, but it's
proud
not a
refuge
super
of the
hard
ancestors.
protect mission because
The only
the guy we're
undamaged
protecting
region is the
is
central platform.
reasonably competent
Vircha
and
Etters, leader of the Drow
pretty hardy.
holders,
So it's this
must
guy up
be
there, Vircha. He's a priest. I don't know if he heals himself, but let's see. We got these guys. We also want to try to keep these guys alive. Sometimes I'll break these just to get the because otherwise the Sahagin are going to do it and get him healed up before the fight starts. So I'm just going to break these. The warriors don't have to be protected, but you know they help fight the Sahagin, so it's a good idea to protect them if you can. But the only one you really have to protect is Vircha Etters.
The villagers watch the slimy water with stern eyes. The attack could begin at any moment. Sahagins spring from the water in all directions. The battle has begun. Yet Sahagin can now be seen destroying the village proper. Vircha shouts to you,
Stop those Sahagin! I will be safe until you return!
a thick, garbled voice shouts,
Wreck this place!
Here's a name guy. I don't recall seeing him before.
Standing for the crowd to use!
Whenever you see these clams, just click on it to, it's like a, gives you a collectible. And these are used to upgrade the named items in the chest.
With the demolition attempt stopped, The Sahagin will surely renew their efforts to kill Vircha Etters. He will need protecting again, and soon.
There's one we missed.
The attack resumes as more Sahagin burst from the brackish water. Tells you, rest while you can. I will alert you when more Sahagin arrive.
So now's probably as good of a time to rest the hireling. He's hasn't only about halfway through the spell points, but we're I think over halfway through this quest.
Vircha shouts, "The Sahagin have resumed the battle! Fight! Fight!" Third wave Sahagin has been destroyed. Despite this, you feel they will press one more attack. The water foams angrily as a Sahagin necromancer appears from beneath the depths.
You can see we're lighter on numbers. That's because a few of them must have died, and so each of the ones that died come back as the drowned here in this part. You can see these ones here at the elves that were killed. I don't know if, I mean, it could be that they come, you know, even if you keep them all alive, you can get those. I don't know, but it's pretty hard to keep them all alive.
Without her necromantic powers to animate them, the drowned zombies collapse as well. The refuge of the ancestors.
So 3 chests. I believe one of those is for that rare Braxit that we got. I mean, I'm sure I've gotten it before. It's been a while. It doesn't seem like he's a very common. I think that's the named item chest right there. And a normal, you have a pretty low drop rate. Alright, so that is the last stand. So now we've done the 3, what I'll call flagging quests, and we just need to do the last one. So I'm going to recall out get our end rewards, and then we'll run the last quest. Well, that's bad luck. We didn't get a single named item there, and I'm hoping that's not the one that gives me the Myers set, but I don't think it is. So um, these named items are old. They're the old style, so they're not going to be as good as things you get in random loot generally. So I'm just going to pick one and let's not take it again. We'll until after we finish the last one, and then I got one named item. It's not the one I'm looking for, but I'm just going to grab it. False life 17 is actually pretty good, but we already have a necklace, but I'm going to grab it. And then this last one. Okay, Boots of the Mire. So that's the item I was looking for. I think this one might pretty much always drop, or has a good chance to drop. We've also got Charisma +5 necklace. That's really good for the level 7. Siren's Charm gives you Constitution +5, Sonic Resistance 18. That's also very, very good for the level level. I have a Con 5 item from Slavers, but again, this is why it's a good reason to run this right at level 7. You can get some of these really nice items. But I'm going to grab this Boots of the Mire. I'm not going to put it on until I get the set bonus, but I'm going to show you what it has. So you get underwater action and balance 10. Then if you wear this along with the ring, you get that Marshwalker bonus, which gives you 30% striding and 15% jump. 15% jump at this level is about as good as you get. Some of these jumps that we cannot make, we'll be able to make with that 15 jump. I mean, I don't think you get above just 15 jump until you start getting into the close to 20. So I'm going to lock this for sure. And I've got enough room, so I'm just going to go ahead and run to the next one. So let me get my faster movement speed. And for this last one, what you want to do is when you come down this waterfall to the on the left side, you'll kind of go past this area. Kill these, you'll probably come for me anyways. Once you get past this structure here, which...
A great red tree grows out of the ruins of a crumbling altar.
If you collect some
a sense of ancient evil hangs
crests,
heavy in the air.
You can get this rare encounter here. But once you see the ziggurat there, that's the big thing we were on before. We want to kind of go off to the side to its right. So let's go up here so you can kind of see it. Kind of off to its right here on this right-hand side, and kind of follow it along here. Follow it along. We're going to kind of just go north until we see, kind of at the end of the landscape, we'll see. There's a lot of waterfalls here, so it's pretty easy to confuse it. And get a little closer. Okay, and so that waterfall at the end there, that's where we're headed. There's a lot of waterfalls, but it's this one that has like a waterfall, and then to the right, there's kind of like a little walkway or a path, not walkway, but a path up. That's the one that we want to go to. Okay, then we want to follow this cave, and usually I see like a slime or something in here. Doesn't seem like it's there every time. I don't see it now, but I'm gonna go up this way through here. And then once you get through this cave to the very back, you're going to get to a shrine, and then the person that gives us the quest, and kind of a nice view actually of
From atop this
water,
the
ocean.
Sahagins' underwater base is clearly visible in the inlet below.
So it's kind of nice. All right, so he gives us a level 1 item. So, I mean, deadly 1, I might think about keeping. They're level 2 in this case. Normally they're level 1, but I guess there's like quite a bit of 2s today. Probably won't keep it, but and then you just take the quest and go in.
A Sahagin priest tends a glowing portal here. The portal seems fluid, like water, and you feel you could just step right through it. The priest gestures you to enter. You have met with the rebel leader. Now you must find the 2 elemental prisons that bind the palace protectors. Only then will you be able to reach your objective, the High Priestess.
So I normally do the west side first, and the reason I do the west side first is it takes me out on the south, and the east side takes me on the north, and then we want to go north for the end fight, so it's just a little bit quicker path to the end fight. So I always go west and then east. There's 2 the prisoners of the water guardians. There's 1 on each side basically. So you want to go west. You can see the door there, and then east, and then some people just run to the door and ignore all this stuff, which you certainly can do.
To your surprise, a drow woman slips out of the shadows. She beckons you closer.
And this is the quest we flagged for, so it's intended to be a little bit holler or harder. So the first thing we want to do is get these red name water elementals. They're pretty easy on normal. They're pretty easy on heroic in general.
They might not notice you.
Then we're going to open each of these. And you could do this optional if you want. Help them escape. And then now we can enter this area. That's just a chest behind a secret door that's always there. That opens this way. And they don't help much, but we could ask these guys for their help. They'll help us. This could be a little bit of a tough fight on Reaper. There's, some spawns, quite a bit of damage.
The water around you begins to bubble. The
I
prison
usually
has
like to
more guards
kill
for you to
those guys
deal with.
first, then focus on this. Once this water elemental is freed, it starts helping us with the mobs. So we come out on the southwest and we want to go to the due east, so we need to go north a little bit and then east. And now we're just headed east. Grab any of these clams you can get. And the rare one is golden swamp pearl. That's the one that's the most rare. And you could actually sell those on the auction house if you get more than you need.
Across the room, a Sahagan mage appears to be using magic to force a group of scrags into some kind of mining operation. A group of guards watch nervously. In the Thrall labor force. Whatever Sleek here needed these crystals for, it'll be difficult without the gray skin of these Sahagan mark them as rebels. They greet you warily.
And these guys will also help us if we ask them.
The High Mage sits perched above him, protected by his magic. Held before the mage for the moment is a huge scrag. You sense its confinement is temporary. Falters, and his personal shield
now we
and
just
the
head
barrier
up.
to the north vanish. You can take the fight to him personally now.
And then same thing here, we want to free this air elemental, and once we do, they'll fight for us, with us.
An audible tremor shakes the ground. You sense that some powerful enchantment is now broken. Perhaps now you can investigate the palace defenses.
And I'm not going to use it, but there's a shrine right over there. Alright, so we came out on the northeast, and we basically want to go to the center here. That's where the end fight is. And you have to go a little bit to the center, towards the center way, but just I usually kind of go here and then just sort of follow the path around and then just fight anything that gets in my way. And then there's going to be a bridge to the palace. You kind of recognize that center structure. And here's a, let's see what we get from this clam. Verdant Swamp Pearl.
With the elemental prisons destroyed, the Water Guardians have abandoned their posts at
And
the
then
palace
just follow
gates.
this bridge to the
You
north
can now enter.
palace.
You have breached the palace. It appears that the rebels have already established a foothold. A gray-skinned Sahagan captain beckons you closer.
And then we just jump down here.
An unnatural form shrouds the High Priestess as she glares at you with pure hate.
And you can get neg leveled. We don't have a death block item yet. Actually, we do, but it's in the bank. I probably should have had that in there now. But I can restore at least if I get negative leveled. Pull that out. Let's see, there's going to be some other guys that spawn, but we can get these guys with a bow. And I should have had the goggles from Tanglewood Gorge with the death block clicky on right now, but that's okay. If we lose negative levels from energy drain, we'll just use our remove disease. We have 8 clickies of that. There she is. In fact, let me get my Lara Miracloak on here. It might protect against some of her spells.
The High Priestess's hand lies spent. The demon within roars with frustration, its host on this plane now lost.
So the quest is done. That fight's a lot tougher on Reaper than it is on normal. So we have a chance for some named items in here, less of a chance obviously on normal. So I'm going to loot these chests, and we can finish up if we want here, but there's another demon fight that we can do that has name loot, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't think we need a shrine for it. And then for this sort of optional item, it has some pretty cool things. There's a staff in there with some good abilities, level 7, and even though we're sort of focused on great swords, staffs are still of interest to us because we get bonuses for them for our religion choice. Alright, so I'm just going to clear this area first. You can see they're guarding the center. So we're going to clear this area and then jump down the center.
You have reduced the forces loyal to
And
Priestess
it's normal,
Sleekia.
but I'm going to go ahead and
The
just
rebels will have an easier
give
time
fire
of it when
resist
they
to
make
my
their
hireling
Yet
and myself.
Still, great heat emanates
It's
from
a
this
little
pit,
hot down there.
causing the water to boil up. This is the Demon's Gate. A magical barrier blocks entry for the foolish or the brave. As the demon rages, the walls begin to crack and rifts begin to form. The roars of other evil creatures can now be heard. You must close the portals or kill the demon quickly. The demon has been banished from Emerald for now. From atop this overlook, the Sahagins' underwater base is clearly visible in the inlet below.